Hey guys, I'm Evan Bourcier, and today I'm going to be talking to you about bright tangerine matte boxes, specifically the Misfit, which we have here, and the Misfit Atom. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why you would use a matte box and why I love these matte boxes in particular. I recently purchased the Misfit and I love it, and I might be purchasing the Misfit Atom now because starting Friday, which is Black Friday, at the time this is released, they're putting these out for half off, $350, which is pretty awesome. So I'm probably going to pick one up. You should pick one up. Go check that out on their website though, brighttangerine.com. So why would you use a matte box, and what is a matte box for? What are the uses of these matte boxes in particular? A matte box can be used for a few different things. Really, the predominant purpose of a matte box is to manage light in front of the lens. So you can have things going on behind the lens with your sensor and whatnot. In front of the lens is where you'll end up having filters and flags and stuff. I end up mainly using my matte boxes for filtration, and then sometimes I'll use flags and stuff. But so one of the cool things about the Misfit is that it's a matte box that you can use in virtually any situation. Some matte boxes are really big and really bulky. Some matte boxes are really slim and designed for gimbals and stuff. And the reason I purchased the Misfit is because it's kind of the perfect middle ground, where it's small enough that I can use it for run and gun stuff, but big enough and flexible enough that I know I can use it for the rest of my career if I want to. It's made out of carbon fiber, which is really nice. It is super lightweight, super durable. They have a picture of someone standing on one of these, which I haven't tried yet. I'm kind of a big guy, but the Misfit can be used with common 114mm front cinema lenses using a clamp-on adapter. Now, I purchased one of these because 114mm lenses are very common for the work I do. Here we're using a Rokinon Zine 35mm prime that Lens Pro To Go gave me for this video, and we're able to open up this little knob here on the clamp, place it right on the front of our lens, and clamp it down. And this is able to give us secure mounting for the matte box, and it's really quick and easy to change. So we got to do a lens change. We just pop this clamp off. We're able to swap our lens and then go right back on quickly and easily. Now this can be a big advantage to something like a threaded filter. Threaded filters are great for stills lenses and stuff, but one, they usually don't make many threaded filters big enough for cinema lenses, and two, it can take a lot of time to be unthreading and rethreading stuff. So it's really nice to be able to quickly clamp on and off, and your filters all stay the same, so you're not accidentally changing a vari-ND or something as you unscrew it. Everything will be consistent because you're just pulling the whole situation here off. Now that being said, if you aren't shooting with 114mm lenses, you can change that out. So these two screws over here, they call them the reveal stage. They're these two silver screws. You can quickly undo those, and this whole black back plate comes off and can be replaced with any other size. So for instance, here I have their, I believe it's 143mm front, and with the 143mm front, we can quickly drop this stage out, drop a new stage in, and put those screws back in like so. Now that we have retightened those screws, we have a new front size here, which you can use with big old cinema lenses, clamp right to the front of that. Or you can go with a couple other options here. But really the point of that is that it's really easy to adapt this to any front size lens you may have just by changing out two screws. Now, say that you're not using a cinema lens, you're using something like my Zeiss Contax lenses. They have accommodated that as well. So we can do a quick lens swap here on my Scarlet Weapon, take the Zine off, put our contacts on, and now we might not want to clamp to the front of this, because though there is an 80mm clamp adapter that would fit this front, these lenses do move a little when you focus them, and you're not going to necessarily want to put weight on that front element. So there's another option called the black hole that they make. You may be familiar with other matte boxes. They've called these things like nun's knickers, but theirs is rubber, and it really allows you to seal up on a lens like this. When you're using the black hole, you're not going to be able to clamp to the front of the lens, so that's where their rod adapter and swing away attachment can be really helpful. So this guy is built like a tank. It's all super heavy duty metal. This eject button feels super cool to press and swing away. But basically there's a little dovetail here, and we're able to drop that right into this swing away arm. And this will allow us to mount the matte box to our 15 mil rods here. There is also this other cool little function here where you can change the distance from your rod mount to the front of the matte box, so that can be really nice. So we're actually going to open that up for now. And then we can just quickly drop this onto our rods. And we have our matte box mounted now to that lens. We have these little black tabs which we can use to pull the rubber over the lens and seal off any light leaks. And then now the matte box is securely attached to this lens, so we don't have any light coming in. We still have our filters going on, and if we want to do a lens swap, instead of declamping, we just pop our rubber off here, hit that eject button that I mentioned, and this whole thing swings out of the way, do a lens swap, and quickly pop it back on the front. So this system's really flexible in the lenses that you can use with it. Obviously you can go from something like a stills lens, though it can get a little tricky, I found, with like still zooms, because some of those really have a lot of front to back travel and it's kind of hard to compensate. But for something like my contacts all the way up to big cinema lenses, it works really well. One of the other things that I really like about the Misfit is that it gives me the ability to use these Tiffin Rota NDs in here. And basically this takes up 2 stages of the matte box, but with the turning of this wheel, I'm able to apply ND to the image, which gives me kind of the ability to work quickly in run and gun situations. So rather than having to drop in and out ND filters, I can just dial in anywhere from, I believe it's like 2 to 8 stops of ND using this Rotapola. So that's a pretty cool trick. It gives me a very ND even with big cinema lenses and allows me to work really quickly, which is really valuable to me. The last trick that the Misfit has that I want to talk about is what that reveal stage can also do if you're needing a little more room to add extra filters. So we're going to pop off the rods here, take off our rod adapter, and I want to briefly show you guys how currently we have 2 stages taken up by the Tiffin Very ND, but say I want to add an extra stage of something like my Tiffin Pro Mist filter. Currently this is a 4x4 filter, but obviously you can use bigger ones as well. We'll take our extra filter tray here and quickly drop our filter in so it's held securely. And then we can open those reveal screws again, pull back. This whole back can slide out, as you can see here. So we're creating extra space. And now the whole matte box becomes a 3rd stage matte box. So we go from having 2 trays in here to having the ability to drop in our 3rd tray and add a layer of diffusion before our ND. So the Misfit is able to quickly transform from a 2-stage to a 3-stage matte box just by loosening these screws, which is another feature that I thought was really important because I knew I wanted to use this Very ND and wanted the ability to add diffusion as well. So that's all I'm going to talk about for the Misfit right now. The Misfit's awesome though, highly recommend it. There's a bunch of other cool accessories you can get, but that's kind of my setup for right now. The other thing that I do want to briefly talk about is the Misfit Atom. As I mentioned, this guy's on sale starting tomorrow, which is pretty crazy. You should check it out. They're not paying me to say that. I really think you should buy one because what's great about this is it's another little clamp-on matte box, and they do have a rod adapter, but I find that it's most practical as a clamp-on just because of how little it is. So I'm going to throw a little 80mm ring in here, and I can clamp this right to the front of my contacts lens here. One of the cool things about the Atom is that you can fit 2 stages of filtration in here quickly and easily. So we'll pull out a Tiffin ND filter that Lens Perdigo has also provided, and we can drop that right in here to quickly and easily apply to ND to the front of our lens. You can apply a second filter, so if I wanted to put something like my Pro Mist filter in here, we can. So this is allowing us to apply filters, which is really necessary with something like a red camera because you don't have those internal NDs that some other cameras can have, and it's lightweight enough that you can use it with a gimbal, something like a Ronin or a Movi. If you really have to kill weight, this rubber lens hood actually comes off, so you strip it down to just a filter holder, but this is nice for knocking down some extra flares and whatnot. So all in all, the biggest thing that I would say about these matte boxes is they're built like tanks. They're super well engineered. It's really hard to beat something like this, and it is an investment. They're not the cheapest matte boxes on the market, but they are the matte boxes that will take you through the rest of your career instead of buying a new matte box every 2 years and losing money as you resell it. So if you can justify it, I highly recommend taking the time to invest in one of these. I did, and I haven't regretted it yet. They're making some awesome tools, and especially if you can pick up the sale on the Misfit Atom, it's a great way to get into matte boxes and start to figure out what works for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.